Now let's have a look at the topology, another way to monitor your fabric. You can select different elements to appear in one single screen. You can run a quick search to retrieve any endpoints or component within the topology. When you select the Topology tab from the left bar side, you have the accurate view of your fabric with all devices, network gears, and computes with the connectivity between them. All devices are displayed with different colors. You expect to see all nodes in green because that means they are all in a good shape and functioning as expected. But some may be orange. That means that they are in a warning state. Maybe memory or CPU reach the warning threshold. Then you will have to look after the concerned device when possible by just clicking on it. If it is red, that means that the device is facing a severe issue. Then it requires an immediate actions to troubleshoot the issue. If it is gray, it means that DCNM does not have enough information to monitor it. This is the case if you added a router that belongs to different teams and you don't have the right credentials. You can view one fabric or all fabrics that belongs to your data center infrastructure or all fabrics part of multi-site domains. And you can have a classical LAN and VXLAN VPN fabric or external fabric all in one single pane of glass. You can do a search on any component, an IP address, a MAC address, a VLAN ID, a VXLAN ID. You can search for a particular flow or for leaf nodes concerned by redirections to a service node. And above all, you can display the physical path for a data flow used by the overlay using the VXLAN OAM tools, operation, administration, and maintenance. And the element you look for can be a physical or virtual device, a network node, or virtual machines. As said in the previous slide, you can display the physical path used for a particular flow. Remember that with VXLAN as a transport, the data flow uses an overlay tunnel initiated between two VTEPs. So by default, you know the source VTEP and the destination VTEP, the latter being the egress VTEP or the next layer 3 hop if you wish. VXLAN OAM is also known as next-gen OAM. This is very visual and very helpful if you need to troubleshoot a flow, for example. Notice that VXLAN OAM is only supported with the Easy Fabric, meaning VXLAN VPN fabric. Let me show you this with a demo. Let's have a look at the topology view. And from the main DCNM page and from the left sidebar, called the topology view windows. Your last topology view appears. Here is a network view of two fabrics with all nodes and uplinks, as well as the multi-site underlay and overlay networks in dotted line. You can search for a particular node. For example, you can enter its IP address in the search bar, and the node will be highlighted by fading the rest of the topology and nodes. Hence, it is easy to retrieve the concerned element or endpoint. And you can double click on the same node and you get a summary of its environmental status with its health score. From the right side, you can add or remove elements to show, such as compute machines and the containers. If you think the Windows is too busy, you can filter using a search. For example, you can display the Kubernetes containers with a name that include the word kube proxy. Let's reduce the view and change the scope to a single fabric, fabric 2. From the search engine, select the VXLAN OAM options. Select host-to-host communications. Add a source endpoint, a destination endpoint, and the VRF you wish to visualize, and then submit. After a few seconds, the physical path appears in dotted line with all physical nodes crossed by the concerned flow. You can double-click on LIFO here, for example, and you can expand the view to show more details. You can get details on modules, licenses, features that are enabled on the device, VXLAN segments with their respective identifiers, multicast group, the mapping with the different VLAN IDs, as well as the layer 3 VNI. So you can retrieve all details related to VXLAN segment. Or you can retrieve the list of all active VLANs for this switch with the interfaces associated for each VLANs. You can see the local hosts attached to these diff nodes with their respective interfaces. From the System Information tab, you can also execute a CLI show command that you can pick from a list of available CLI-based policy templates. In this example, you select the show BGP L2 VPN command that displays a summary of the BGP VPN neighbors. You can easily create your own NXOS-based template with your preferred CLI show command if they are not already available. And by moving the pointer over a link, you can get further details of the connections with the interface numbers, for example, or you can click on any link to get the network utilization using either a line chart or an area chart. You can export the result in a CVS or PDF document. And you can expand the virtual switch to get the VM attached to with the port groups. You can get as well the OS detail and the memory of the VMs and much more detail that you will see with the next section dedicated on compute visualizations.